Hey guys, Martin here, coming to you with my bit inbox review for the Tamiya 148 scale Vought F4U-1A Corsair. This is going to be my next build before I go on to the 132nd scale go home, go big group build and the 132nd buddy build on ISM. So I'm going to do a review of this. I was inspired to build it because I want to try heavy chipping. If you saw my last video, my February channel update, I just want to have a go at doing heavy chipping and practice that and try a method, see how it comes out. There's two other guys that I've been following that are building Corsairs. The first one is Warren Blanche, and that's the name of his YouTube channel, and that's his name. He's building the Tamiya 148 F4U-1D Corsair. I'm doing the 1A, he's doing the 1D. And then the other guy is a chap whose YouTube channel is his name, and that's Bob Buesking, B-U-E-S-K-I-N-G. And he's presently building the Revell 132nd scale F4U-1A, same craft as the one I'm about to build, but larger scale. And he's doing that for the go big go home group build. So check those two guys out and you can follow their Corsair builds as well. Anyway, let's get on with this baby. Do an inbox review. Nice artwork. Nice place to be considering the blizzards we're having here, on a beach with palm trees, just like where I used to live. Alright, on the box it offers two versions, VMF 111 number 122 Gilbert Island, September 1944, and the next one, the second one, is VF 17 number 1 Big Hog Hundonga, November 1943. Let's get into the box. Now, I haven't opened this yet. As you can see, it's all sealed. I'm going to count the sprues. There's one bag here with 2 sprues in, 2 grey sprues. There's a bag here with another sprue in. That's also got a little bag in with the small rubber bushings that they use on the propellers. And one more grey sprue. So there's 2 large grey sprues, 2 more small grey sprues. The 2 large ones are in individual bags, the 2 small ones in a small bag. And then we have the clear parts in their own bag, sealed. Bags are sealed with just staples. We'll look at the parts in a minute. Let's check out the instructions and decals. Okay, decals. We know what Tamiya decals are like. They feel thin on here, thinner than the Sky Raider I just built. And but with the kits I've built so far, which is only a couple, I have had slight problems, issues with Tamiya decals. Anyway, this kit was built in 2000, it's a 2000 kit, so it's 15 years old now, and the decals are dated 2000 as well, so these decals are 15 years old. There is a decal for the instrument panel and a side console, small side console panel there, so there's the options there to smooth down the instrument panel part and stick that on. There's also a seat belt decal, and it looks like there's decals for the boardwalks at the side of the cockpit. I always mask and paint mine black, never use the decals. So decals as expected are going to be typical Tamiya. Alright, the instruction booklet, it's typical black and white as you always get with Tamiya. First page is just a bit of history about this 4U-1A. It's in 3 languages, the others being German and French, apart from the English, and then Japanese at the bottom. The first sheet always gives you the paint call outs. They always give you the AS numbers for the main external camouflage paints, which they should give a conversion because they're spray cans. I don't use spray cans, I want to use my airbrush. And let's get on with the instructions. Open up, see how many there are. Okay, so there's 13 assembly instructions, and then the last 2 pages are the colours for the 2 options, and also it includes the decals. So this one is combined. The decal sheets usually come separate. They're combining decals and colours on these 2 sheets. Also, what they don't have, I'm noticing, is the previous 2 Tamiya kits I built, there was a separate sheet with full-size views that you can photocopy and cut up and use as paper masks. There isn't one of those with this kit, so I'll just have to blow up these kits, although it doesn't look necessary because it's, you know, it's full colour all on top side and 2 colours on the underside, and then that lighter colour on the underside extends up on the outside. I guess I'll just use tape, I won't bother blowing this up. Alright, let's have a look at the instructions quickly. Okay, we have a cockpit tub to start with as usual. It's got a gun mounted. It's got a bulkhead behind the seat. It's got side consoles. It's got some levers. So it looks pretty detailed. It's got the foot pedals as well. And then we have a detailed radial engine like I had on the Sky Raider, which looks pretty good. If you wanted to add some wires to that to look like tubing wiring, you could do that. So after assembling the cockpit tub, the front radial engine assembler and cowling, it then goes on to the central wing assembly, upper and lower, because you can choose to show this with the wings open or closed up, folded up. I might do one wing folded up, one wing down, because I want to show the chipping on the wing. That's part of this exercise for me. So section 4 then is assembling the tub into the fuselage aft, along with the rear wheel well parts, plus a console, side console unit, and a lever, throttle lever on the starboard side, and on the port side is just some switch mounts. And then after that, it's showing painting instructions for the pilot, and then dropping him in to the assembled fuselage, then assembling the previously assembled radial engine and cowling onto the front of the fuselage, and then the previously assembled central wing section to the underside of the fuselage, along with the horizontal stabilizers. So that's section 5. It's all looking straightforward. Section 6 then moves on to the wheels, the 2 front wheel assemblies and the rear wheel assembly. The rear wheel assembly is attached to a rester hook component, and then a brace. So reasonably detailed wheel assemblies. And it moves on to section 7, which then is all the flaps, which can be posed up or down. I'll obviously be posing them down. I like to pose as much as I can on these models, show all the undercarriage, whatever can be shown, I'll show it. So I'll do the wing flaps down. It's talking about the central wing flaps here to be filled with polyester putter. I don't know what the reason for that is. I don't understand that. But I'm sure when I get to assembling it, I'll understand the reason. Okay, moving on to section 8 of the assembly instructions is putting the undercarriage doors in place on both the forward wheels and the rear wheel, and then assembling the wheels in place and assembling the previously assembled flaps. And then there's a front view to show you positions, to show what angles that those doors should lay at and those wheels should lay at. Alright, moving on to section 9 is the outer wing assemblies. Starboard side, port side, and there's a bar inside there, a wall that if you have it folded will be visible. And then there's another wing flap to go on those outer sections there as well. And section 10 is for the bomb and a drop tank. Let me just check the picture. I guess it's just an option to either have the bomb or the drop tank, because that's showing the bomb on the centre and nothing on the wings. So you choose whether you want to display a drop tank or a bomb. I'm guessing, yeah, the bomb is shown on number 122 version, based in Gilbert Islands, and the drop tank is shown on Big Hog, based in Ondonga. Alright, so after building the bomb and the drop tank, whatever you choose, it's then mounted to the undercarriage, the underside of the fuselage, along with exhausts from the engine, and then propeller, giving you the propeller paint instructions, and then decals that are going on the propeller, and then assemble that. I always leave that till last. The fiddly bits go on last when I assemble kits. And then section 12 moves on to the pilot, painting the pilot, and there's a guy standing on the outside, or you can have a pilot. There's two figures, one for the outside and one for the inside. So we'll see how I do it. If I'm going to have a wing posed up, I'll probably have a pilot standing outside, dismounting the craft. So section 12 shows that, mounting the pilot on the wing, inboard wing section, also sorting out the canopies and the aerial mount, and then inside the gun sight, doing that as well, along with what is probably a wing support bracket going on the fuselage side. I don't know, we'll look as we go along into the instructions. Alright, section 13 is then mounting the outer wings, whether you want them closed or open. And then it looks like there's a brace, a brace attached there to support that wing. And that's for the down position, and then this is showing for the open folded position. And then that support is used again, it's just mounted differently onto that end wall spar, mounting it upwards to give some support to the wings in the open folded position. It's also giving a couple of wing braces, so that detail A22, I don't know what that is yet, I'll have to look into that. And that's it. So the section 13 is just concerned with mounting the outer wing sections, and that is the final section of the assembly instructions. Then it goes on to painting, and the three main colours for this are navy blue, intermediate blue and intermediate white, with AS references, so you will need to check with the colour guide online that you can get that converts all colours Alright, we're about to come to the end of the 15-minute allowance that I get on this camera. So I'm going to close down now, guys, and then we're going to look at the plastic parts. So bear with me for now, I'll be back. Hi guys, thanks for bearing with me, I'm back. So now we're going to look at the parts themselves. Staples, as always with Tamiya, just be careful, remove them first before you take your parts out, because you don't want them dragging across those staples and getting scratches. This bag contains the fuselage halves, the horizontal stabilizers, the engine cowling, and which is loose, it's fallen off. It's got the front bulkhead and instrument panel there. It's got recessed details in there, so there's potential to be able to just paint that, which I generally do. And there's the side consoles, some nice little detail on there, separated console panels with switches that can be highlighted, pilot seat, rear wheel doors for the fuselage. It's got the front of the radial engine, and it's got the wheel hubs there, and then choice of rear wheel there, and then this is the rear wheel mounting with the arrestor hook on. And these are the front wheel axles and the two radial engine sections that are assembled together, and then the framework for the front wheels. As expected, the parts look really crisp and clean. I am not seeing any flash, so that always makes me happy. Let's have a look on the inside. There is a eject pin there that will be visible probably just underneath those switches on the starboard wall, so you might want to smooth that down. And there's one as well in the same spot on the port side, and one there, but we'll see when I assemble it whether they become visible and whether they need to be smoothed down. But generally, guys, these parts as expected look great. Fine recessed panel lines and rivet details on the fuselage. Hope you can see that, but it looks good. And the engine cowlings here, nicely detailed with the separated panel features, which can be highlighted. And big propeller, I'm not seeing flash around the edges of those, so it's a nice mould. It shut out nicely around those contoured surfaces. So that sprue looks great. So let's move on to the next sprue. Again, remove these staples carefully before you drag parts out. And in here we have the sprue of wing parts, and then we have the two little bushings for the propeller, hold the propeller in place. So yeah, this has all the wing sections, the central and the external wing sections, upper and lower. Then it has all the flap sections, the flap halves that have to be assembled together. It has the front wheel undercarriage doors, and there's a piece there that I'm not sure what that is yet. I can look in the instructions and tell you, but I won't. Then we have some vents here, air vents that go in the front of the wing assemblies. And again, and these are the brace pieces for the wings that you'll see if you have the wings open, and also if you close the wings it helps support those two wing sections being joined together. And then we have the bars here, latch bars for when the wings are up in the open folded position. But again, these parts look really crisp, and if you can see the detail, nicely recessed panel lines on those wing sections. And there's the lower sections, the three lights there. So I'm happy with that. Looks good to me. So that's the second one. Let's move on to the third and final bag of grey sprues. Just going to move these staples. And we have two smaller sprues in this third and final bag of grey sprues, and on here we have the two halves for the bomb, whether you choose to use that, and we have the two halves for the drop tank, whether you choose to use that. We also have the rear oh gosh, my brain's deceiving me, it's failing me, the rear bulkhead for mounting the pilot seat too. We have some sections there that I'm assuming are mounted to either the wings or the undercarriage. I'm not sure what they are, but we'll see. We have the pedals, foot pedals for the pilot, and that's the central pylon for mounting the bomb. The two grooves inside the bomb located on those two raised ribs. We have a joystick here. It's got an hydraulic cylinder on the back end here, so a nice little bit of detail there. And there's the pilot as well. The pilot's got some nice features on there that can be dry brushed to highlight them. Just a bit of part line witness around the sides. A part line witness there that will need smoothing down before you paint him on the inside and the outside. But again, these parts look great. I'm not seeing any problems with them. So I'm happy with those. And the final grey sprue is for some extra long range drop tanks. That one was a shorter bulky drop tank, and this is a longer drop tank. So there we had the seated pilot on that sprue, and on this sprue it's the standing pilot dismounting or about to get into the plane. And I might use him if I'm going to use the folded wing version. And there's another rear bulkhead on here for the pilot seat to be mounted to, so there's a couple of those. They just have different features. One has the round headrest, this one has a triangular headrest, so depending on which version you do, depends on which bulkhead you use. And there's some features there, I don't know what they are unless I look in the instructions. Foot pedals, it's like they're repeating the foot pedals, the bulkheads, but they're just slightly different on each version. And again, another joystick, hydraulic cylinder at the back. And then a lot of parts that are identical, part numbers 15, 16 and 17. Let me see what they are, because it'll bug me unless I look. (15, 16 and 17). Sprue E, so E15, E16, E17. I'm not seeing them at the moment. I'm not seeing those parts at all, so they must be used in another kit, maybe the F4U-1D version that Warren is putting together. Well, anyway, again, that fourth and final grey sprue looks crisp and nice, nicely detailed parts. And the final one is going to be the clear sprue. And then this review will be done. Looking for clarity. I'm not seeing any blemishes. The parts are moulded clean. If I get that close to you so you can see. So there's two versions of rear canopy there. And then the front section is common to both. And then there's a section, a clear section, which I'm assuming goes on the underside. But 4 clear parts plus the gun sight, which is a clear part, and then there's 2 other small clear parts, which we'll have to check and find out what they're for. But all those clear parts look good. Frames look nice and crisp and raised. There's a bit of rivet detail on the front canopy clear part and this square clear part. So overall, chaps, it looks like another decent kit by Tamiya. The only contentions I have are the call outs with the AS spray can numbers for the external camouflage. I wish Tamiya would put a alternative, one of their XF or X paints, acrylic paint alternatives. And it'd be nice to see colour paint guides, and it would have been nice if they'd included the full size view sheet that I've had in the previous 2 kits that you can photocopy and cut up and use as masks if you like to do it that way like I do. So anyway, thanks guys. 28 minutes almost since I started this review, so I don't want to keep you any longer. But generally it looks like a good kit. You'll hear my final review on it when I've built it, and I hope you stick with me on the build updates, support me through it like you all have done on the previous builds. Really appreciate it guys. And first off, looking at this, it looks like another good kit that I'd recommend. Anyway, that's me all over and out. Chocks away guys. Tally-o.